Hi, friends. Happy Tuesday. It is our dream team chat night, and we are elbows deep into Leap to Lead, which
Yep.
is really awesome. We are on week 3 of our Leap to Lead program, shaking things up and doing it differently this year by doing it during our dream team chats where everyone always gets together anyway. We thought, let's bring the content to you instead of pulling the content into a group or a different place for us to learn. Let's do it where we're already at and where we're already hanging out and where we're already building connections, because Leap to Lead is a super valuable program, whether you are a brand new essential consultant or you are a director trying to develop leaders in your organization. Leap to Lead is a really great foundational program that we've put on. This is our third or fourth time doing it
Yeah.
now. We've seen the fruit of this program grow into some really awesome, strong, healthy businesses. And so it's content that we want to bring you guys on a very regular basis. And so the first week, week 1, we kind of jumped into the basics on building your business, finding that consistency, and what it means to kind of do the song and dance of being a business owner and stepping into leadership, right? Last week, we talked about sponsoring and how important building your business, building your team is. Bringing new people on, supporting them as they join. And then tonight, we are diving into systems because systems are going to be what keeps your business running when things get busy, hard, or that motivation is not there. Systems are what your business relies on. Because day to day things can get hectic, but when you know exactly what you should be doing and how to do that, it really simplifies the tasks that you have in your business. And if you did not know, simplicity is a core value of Scentsy. And so if you are doing things in your business where you're flying by the seat of your pants, you don't know what you're doing, nothing is ever the same, then that is a true indicator that you need to step back and simplify and to create systems for what you're doing. Okay. So we talked about systems a lot here, on the team page and on Dream Team chats. Systems are important, and there's many systems. That just means something you do on a regular basis, reoccurring in your business. Things like follow ups and posting on your socials and doing parties, right? These are systems that you put in place in your business. But as a business owner who's trying to build and grow and step into leadership or hone in on their leadership or help others develop their leadership style, finding systems for specifically leadership is going to be so very important. So we are going to share with you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of systems that we think are so important. So I would really recommend getting a pen and paper just to jot down notes. Okay. You probably will not retain all of this information. So having notes to go back and look at is going to be super helpful for you guys. But before we jump into those systems, I just want to tell you a bit of advice that I was given long ago when I first started my business. So I joined back in 2015. It'll be 9 years this fall, which is such a blessing and so amazing. And I remember, after being a few months in my business, I recognized that I wanted to grow my team. I saw the value in that. I was looking up to other leaders in Scentsy, and I was really just establishing how. And someone very dear to me told me once, if you want to be a director with Scentsy, you need to start acting like a director. And at that time, I was a lead consultant. Okay. I think I only had 3 or 4 people on my team. And I took that as such encouragement that I can do it and that I didn't need a title to be performing like a director, that I could be doing tasks and showing up in a way that a top leader in Scentsy shows up. And in fact, it really did help me get my mind right on how I was showing up and the value that I brought to the table. And it really helped me hone in on my leadership skills. Okay. You learn so much along the way. There's so much to learn. And you get better at things as you go and you grow and adapt. But just having that encouragement and permission to act like a director as a lead consultant was super freeing, and really encouraging for me. And so I want to give you guys the same encouragement. If you are wanting to be a director with Scentsy or above, a star director, superstar director, you need to show up and act like that. Okay. The resources are there. The knowledge of what to be doing is there. It's just finding that self discipline to show up. Okay. And systems are going to help that. And As you're doing that, it's really going to help you have the eyes to find other directors, find other consultants who have the opportunity to step into a role where they're also acting like a director, where they are behaving and doing tasks and showing up in their business as a director would. Okay. So that is my encouragement for you guys, that you leave tonight knowing that you have the opportunity to show up just as a director does. You have all the available reports, you have all the available information, you have every single bit of information that a director has. Okay. So it's really just that discipline and the systems to support the actions in your business that are going to help you show up as a director, and then in turn find other directors. Okay. And simply a simple way to really think about this is a saying that superstar director Chloe Cox trained on really hard last year or the year previous, and it really stuck with us both. And it's a simple saying, know the way, go the way, show the way. And we talk about this all the time when we say lead from the front, right? Show up and do, and then you have stuff to show people what to do, show people how to do, right? So knowing the way is very simple. Showing up for the trainings, right? Digging into that information. Okay. Then go the way, doing, not waiting for perfect, not waiting for the right timing, but action in your business. Okay. So when you are training yourself, when you are showing up for yourself, when you are doing the things that you're learning, then you have training content and experience to show the way, to show your teammates what you're doing, to show your new recruits how to work their business, because you are using the tools that are available to you and you're doing it. Okay. So know the way, go the way, show the way. That's a really great heart check for yourself when you are thinking about action in your business. Okay. If you are someone who watches hours and hours of training, but you have nothing on your calendar, your PRV is not great, you're not following up, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, that is a clear indication that you need to start doing things. Okay. Leave the trainings aside and put the things that you've watched and learned and take multiple notes on, put it into action. Once you have some action under your belt, you know how to show the way and how to show other people how to move in their business. And that's very encouraging. Okay. You don't have to be an expert at anything in Scentsy to be successful. Okay. And I love that everything is figure outable. There is nothing that you need to know how to do joining as a Scentsy consultant to be successful. Everything can be learned. Everything can be honed in on. Okay. Everything can have focus that then you grow. Okay. So just take that as some encouragement. And then doing this on a regular basis really creates duplication for your team, which is ultimately what we want as sponsors, someone who are pulling people into the Scentsy business, helping them get started with a firm foundation of you knowing and going the way, and then showing them how to do it. It gives them the confidence to then go and turn around and do that in their business, and then go and do that with their new teammates. Okay. And it builds strong consultants, both you and your team. So I just want you guys to have that foundational thought in your head as you move forward in your business, because it's going to be super important that you stay grounded to the action steps in your business and showing up on a consistent basis. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to start diving into the systems. Okay. These are very important. They're not complicated. Sometimes people hear the word systems and they freak out. Again, it's really just putting steps into place for things that you are already doing, or you know that you should be doing. Having those steps in place helps you stay on track. Okay. And when you can focus on your systems for a while, it becomes a habit. Okay. And that's the magic. That's where the magic happens, is when these systems become a habit in your business. Okay. And again, you can always learn and change and adjust and throw out what isn't working, add new things in. Don't try to do a million things at once. Okay. Focus really well on one or two things and then add to it. Okay. But these systems are important. These are all systems that Brianna and I do in our businesses on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Okay. Now we're going to tell you what we do, and then also give you a few ideas of alternates, because let's be very clear that no two businesses are the same. Bree and I work our businesses very similarly, very similarly. We work together all the time, but they are still not exactly the same. We still do things differently. And it's going to be the same for you, where her and I might send emails. You guys might be very consistent on texting and other forms of communication, project broadcast or whatever. Okay. So just know that these are just, core systems that you guys can kind of plug in what works for you and establish that. And then before we jump into what these systems are, I want to just encourage you that whatever systems you're deciding on, give it a fair 2 to 3 months to try out. Okay. Because there's going to be learning curves. There's going to be, things that you need to tweak and adjust, but just stick with it for at least 2 to 3 months until you can decide if this is good for you or if you need to change it up a bit. Okay. Okay, so the first one I think is so important as we are building our team and we are showing up for our team and we are wanting to help our team grow is that we have to recognize them. Okay, there's a saying that what gets recognized gets repeated, and I find that to be very true. Okay, so finding ways to recognize your team. Okay, this is where it's really important that you get into the reporting tab of our workstation and you pull reports. You look at numbers. Okay. If you don't know how to do that, make sure you check in with your sponsor so you can see exactly how you can be pulling reports and seeing your teammates' numbers. But recognizing things that your teammates are doing. Okay. And these can be firm things like numbers, top PRV, top sponsors, active frontline, top team sales, things like that absolutely should be recognized. Shooting star, certified, any promotions, absolutely recognize it. But then again, also working your business, having a party, showing up on social media, recognizing those things is super important too, because Scentsy is like a long-term business, right? We don't get rich quick. This is something that builds over time. And so having that recognition for our teams is going to be a really nice motivator for them and an encouragement for them to keep going. Okay. So I want to encourage you guys to find some system of recognition for your teammates and even for yourself as well. It's really good to pat yourself on the back and recognize yourself. Okay. So some ways that you'll see that we do this is the PRV cards on our team page. Michelle is so sweet. Every beginning of the month, she posts them. We pin them up at the top. And as we reach accomplishments during the month, we're tagging ourselves, we're tagging our teammates active, closed in order, 500 PRV, 2000 PRV, all these fun things. We can do like this public recognition, and that's really fun. This is a really great place for you to even recognize yourself. Okay. So don't get your feelings hurt if your sponsor isn't recognizing you. Most of the time we're recognizing ourselves. It's like a great little way to cheer ourselves on. And when we're doing that, our teammates are going to do that as well. Okay. So that's like a really simple, fun way to recognize yourself and your teammates. And I love that. Okay. Also, you'll notice at the beginning of the month, we have a lot of leaders do this, and I love it because it's really knowing the way and showing the way. Okay. So you'll see at the beginning of the month, a lot of leaders are shouting out their teams, right? For top PRV, being active, new teammates, promotions. They're doing like this general 1 month recognition for their team at the beginning of the month. And that's free. That is free recognition that they just make a post and tag them in it. And I'll tell you, they love it. Teammates love it. It feels good to get recognized. Okay. So those are free, easy, simple ways to do it and very timely, right? So like first of the month, go shout out for the month previous. Okay. Throughout the month, shout out in the posts, the recognition posts. Okay. Bree and I also send out team emails, PRV recognition emails, other emails, not necessarily recognition, but like almost active, right? Things like that. But we send out recognition emails for top PRV once a week. Okay. We do this on Tuesday because we call our Tuesdays Team Tuesday. That's when we do our training. It's when we send our emails. That's when we check in. That's when we send our reports. That's when we recognize our teammates. Okay. So we absolutely do recognition via email. We also send out texts like, hey, I see you, you're doing so great, right? That's one-on-one, very personal, builds that connection. So that's a really great way to do some recognition. And then we've even done postcards and happy mail, right? That takes a little bit of money, a little bit more time, I think.
Yeah.
And investment, because you have to buy the postcard, you have to buy the postage, you have to sit down and take them to the mailbox, but absolutely such a fun way to get recognized. Okay. And you know they're getting it, right? Sometimes the emails, we don't necessarily know they're getting
Right.
it.
Right.
Or maybe like so many notifications on Facebook, they might not get the notification, but they are going to get that postcard in the mail. And so that's another option for you. So many different ways to recognize and so many different things to recognize too. Okay. PRV and sales and numbers are great. Okay. But so is that one person who's always posting on the team page. And so is that one person who's showing up every day in their stories or on their Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things are awesome to be recognized too. Even just saying, like, hey, I see you, you're doing great, is a great way to recognize your team. Okay.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Okay. So I just want to piggyback off of the recognition thing, because I think one of two things can happen. One, it goes back to love languages, which is kind of an off topic, but like it goes back to love languages. And I think sometimes, especially in a leadership role, we want to give people what we love to get. And not everybody gets tickled pink by a recognition post or an email, right? So we find it hard to expel that energy when that's not how we feel appreciated or loved. And I don't necessarily know that feeling per se, because I'm a words of affirmation gal. So I love like being told, I see you, good job, whatever. Like I do love that. It fills my tank. But I know not everybody's like that. But I do agree that even for people who do not feel filled up by that, you have to ask yourself, what's it mean to you to have somebody text you or to email you or to send you a message on Facebook or whatever, and to say three simple words: I see you, right? So interestingly enough, I got a text message today from a fellow superstar director out of the blue. Like literally last time we texted was when we were in Nashville together. And she texted me, actually that's not the last time, but anyway, she texted me and she was like, hey girl, I just wanted to tell you, like, your social media is so inspiring to me, like you're doing a great job, like blah 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 blah, right? And it literally filled my cup so much, like to have a fellow leader take 30 seconds out of her day to send me a message. I'm not on her team, she's not my leader, we are literally just friends. Like it means so much to people, right? And so to take the time to, like Alex said, know to recognize and to just tell people I see you, and especially in the very beginning, right? And to not overcomplicate it, and to make it a point to just let people know that they are to connect with them, right? And we'll talk about this a little bit more, but I just wanted to touch on the fact that even if it's not something that fills your cup, to make sure that you put energy into making sure other people feel seen,
Yeah,
in what they're doing, right? Because we say motivation is fleeting, but you have no idea the impact of a text message, how motivating that can be for somebody. Okay, so
yeah,
that's all.
so good. Okay, moving on. I think another system that I think is so important, and again, we've talked about this. A lot of this we've talked about previously, okay? But this is thinking like a leader, thinking like a director, a future director, okay? We want to really encourage you guys to be active on the team pages, okay? Whether you have your own team page or you're on the Scented Dreamers or the True Life page, we want to really encourage you guys to be active on the team page, okay? It can be showing how you're working, an order that came in, a scent that you're warming and loving, a real life picture that you took, the recognition, right? The shout outs or whatever. Being active on the team page is such a huge benefit to you as a developing leader. Okay. You really get to hone in on those leadership skills. You get to show your team that you are going the way. Okay. You're showing them and you're going. Okay. By being active on the team page, you are truly showing up. Okay. So I really want to encourage you all. Every one of you has something to share. However, you're working your business that day, you can share that. Okay. It can seem so silly to you, but I promise you it's not. Even just a selfie of yourself saying, like, Working on follow-ups today. What are you doing to work your business is golden. Okay. Do not think that you have to come in guns blazing with all the content, all things spelled out, links and paragraphs and graphics and all the things to be valuable, because that is absolutely not true at all. What's valuable is a leader who shows up. That is the most valuable thing that you can do for your team. Okay. So I really want to encourage you to be active on the team pages and whatever that looks like for you on a consistent basis. Okay. All of these things, you get to decide how often you're doing them. Okay. I recommend at least like a weekly basis on team page stuff. Okay. I recommend at least a monthly basis on recognition stuff. But again, fine tune that, right? Maybe you want to post on the team page more often. Maybe you want to send recognition more often. You get to decide when you're doing that, but it needs to be on a consistent basis. So I want to really encourage you guys to be showing up on the team pages. I think that's a beautiful and simple system that you can really show your teammates that you are working your business. And if you don't have anything to show, that is an indication that you need to get back into the action part of your business and be working your business. Okay.
Yep.
That means you need to go back to week 1 of Leap to Lead and figure out what consistency looks like for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you should be having things to share on the team page regularly, even if it's just some encouragement or samples you're making or something. Okay. I also want to just briefly mention this is that I think creating a team page is really great. I think it's a really beautiful thing. I think it can be really empowering and awesome and give you lots of motivation. Okay. That being said, leaders with 1 or 2 or 3 people on their team, creating a team page too early can be a very major time suck.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're doing so much work to create a page, put content in there for 2 to 3 people. Meanwhile, you could be posting it on the bigger team pages, the True Life or the Scented Dreamers pages, and help 1,000 people and have 1,000 people view your stuff, like your stuff, comment on it. And then those 2 or 3 teammates are going to see that and see that you are providing value. When you are posting in a team page with just 2 to 3 people and you're getting crickets after crickets after crickets, it is disheartening.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good and you're wasting your time. I'm just being honest. I'm not saying don't have the team page, but double up the content. Post it in your team page, go post it on True Life.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Build your team page. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Okay. If you want. And if you want to wait until you hit star or superstar or director to create a team page, that's great too. That is totally up to you. I'm just telling you from examples of teammates that I've had and friends that I've had who have created team pages that are crickets and are putting so much time and effort going live for 2 or 3 people. And then they're getting their feelings hurt when nothing is happening and they feel like they're talking to a brick wall.
Yep.
Okay. It takes about 10 people on your team to find 1 person interested in building a business. That is the statistic. So when you're building a team page, putting time and effort into cover pages and training info and content and albums and all of this for 2 or 3 people, you might not even have 1 person who's ready to build a business there. So go put it on the bigger team pages, go contribute with the arrows out, give more than you take, go give that information out to our team and get filled up by the thank yous and the likes and the loves and the value that you are providing for the team.
And the thing is too, is that like inspiration is contagious.
It is.
So it's like, you may be like, well, I'm posting all this and everybody is seeing it, but my team members or my team members aren't even seeing it. It's like, okay, they may not comment on it, but the thing is they're seeing people being hyped up about the things that you're posting and the work that you're doing, that they may be turning around in silence and mimicking what you're doing.
Yep.
And you don't know anything about it until one day they pop up with a $500 order.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, oh, it's all because of what you shared.
Yep.
And everybody got excited about it. And it's because you posted it to the masses.
Yep.
I did want to piggyback off of that. On the flip side, with the team page thing, we have a couple of leaders here who have teamed up together and who are on the same on our team, and with another outside leader, which is fantastic.
Love
they
that.
have found another leader outside of our team who has amazing ideas, comes from a different background, all the wonderful things. They have come together collectively and have joined their team pages together. And so they are all three working as leaders to create content for this one team page,
I love that.
right? And also sharing with our team page as well. And so that's amazing. So for people who have gone to boot camp, or people who you may have gone to World Tour and really connected with somebody, or you go to SFR this year and you connect with somebody, and all of a sudden, like, you guys find out that you're like a Brie and Alex and you guys work really great together, and you want to come together and create content for your teams, and you feel like you can work together really well, join team
Go
pages.
for it.
Yeah,
That's
go
awesome.
for it. Like, there is an encouragement there. Just make sure that the work you are putting in either is doubled up. I mean, it would be, I would say double up anyways, but like, that you're not spinning your wheels. Okay. And there's a difference between posting and getting crickets and feeling like you're spinning the wheels, and versus, like, I post things on the Scentsy Dreamers page every day without comments.
Mhm.
Okay. But I know that masses are seeing it. Okay.
Yep.
There's a big enough team there that I know eyeballs are seeing it, and that's enough for me.
Yep.
Right. But that's hundreds of people. Okay. So I just want you to understand the difference. But there is a flip side to that. And so if you do come to that point, I think you'll know when it's right.
Mhm. Yeah. Love that. Because you don't want to burn yourself out on things that aren't working, right? And so you want to just evaluate that and step into it in the way that you feel best.
What is that saying? Do less better.
Yes. Mhm.
Do less better.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why we piggyback so much on one
Yeah.
another, and we
Yeah.
work together, because it's like, why go double up and spread this content when
Right.
we can
Right.
work together and do it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Awesome. I love that, Norma, so much. Okay. My last one, and then I'm going to pass it to Bree. And this might be long-winded, but I'm going to try my best. Okay. Develop an onboarding system. Okay. And that sounds scary. My cat's attacking me. That sounds scary. Onboarding just means, how are you training your new consultants? Right? How are you training your new consultants? This is so important, you guys, that you figure out how you train your new consultants. There's different ways to do it. There's different capacities to do it, because some people join and don't want to do anything. Some people join and ghost you. Some people join and do every single thing that you suggest, and they're running. So I really recommend walk with the walkers. Okay. Go at their pace. It's fine. Not everyone needs to be here to build a business. We love them all. Run with the runners. People who are showing up. You say, log into your workstation, do your first things first checklist. Let me know when you get that done. An hour later, go like, okay, I did it. Okay. Then next, let's work on opening up a VIP group or announcing your business. They're like, okay, did it. Awesome. Okay, let's talk about hosting a launch party. These are your options. Okay, did it. Awesome. Okay, you're running with those people. You are working right alongside them, running with them. Okay. We recommend doing this for the first 70 days. Okay. Figure out your onboarding system for the first 70 days. This walks your new consultant through joining. Okay. Getting into the workstation, getting their bearings there. Shooting star 500 within your first 15 days. Also, this is why it's very important to know new consultant goals. Okay.
Yes.
Certified, try to get them certified as quick as possible, ideally within the first month. Okay. Sensational starts level 1, 2, and 3. Now, we know sensational start is within your first 70 days. So our goal is to get all of that done within your first 70 days. Ideally, the quicker, the better. Those are going to be those runners. Okay. The walkers, or the people who are ghosting you. Hey, check in occasionally, figure out what that looks like for you. Is it once a week? Maybe if they're ghosting you, maybe check in once a week and do that for the first 70 days. And you know what? If they're still not replying, they know where to find you. Okay. And you still love them anyway. Okay. Onboarding is going to be so very important because, and Cynthia, me too, it's always something that I'm wanting to improve on. Okay. Onboarding your new consultants is so important because it creates a duplicatable system for them to onboard. When they are onboarded well and they are encouraged to host parties and close orders regularly and show up consistently and sponsor their best friend or their best customer, then when they have teammates, they're going to do the same thing. They are going to model what they have learned. Okay, so that's where it's your job and your honor to onboard them really well. Okay, now here is my little soapbox. Okay, I think it is of the utmost importance of every single sponsor to ensure that their new consultants knows the many different ways that we collect orders. Okay, on the workstation, on the website. Party orders, individual orders, attached to parties, not attached to parties, shipping tiers, all of that is so important for your new consultants to know. This is why, okay? When they are not confident in how to collect orders, they don't.
Yep.
When they don't know how to go to their work with their testers and catalogs and collect orders, they don't. When they don't know how to show up on social media and direct people to give them their orders or shop on their site, they don't. So when they don't have the confidence to go and collect orders, they don't. So it is so important. And in fact, I think it might be one of the most complicated things for
Yes.
new consultants to understand, because
Yeah.
you don't really understand till you're doing it. Okay. But it is very important that you try to explain that to them as much as possible and circle back and answer questions and make sure that they understand.
Yeah.
So I'll explain something and I say, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So make sure they understand exactly how to place orders and collect orders, because that will give them the confidence to go out and work their business. If they do not know that simple, what I say simple, it isn't that
Yeah.
simple. It really isn't.
That piece of it is not simple.
It isn't simple. So
Yeah.
it's very important that we as consultants make sure they know. And then just a little pro tip for those consultants that have kind of ghosted you or fallen off, or they're not replying to your training messages or your check-ins, something I say is like, hey girl, just wanted to check in and make sure you know how to get your Scentsy free and half off.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're like, oh, I don't. Right. And it's like, well, yeah, because you didn't reply to any of my training. So we didn't get there. But now I'm gonna try again with this way. Right. So and maybe I'm thinking like maybe I approach that way sooner than later. Right. But that is a really great way to kind of get their attention and remind them like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like there are perks to me being a consultant. Let me figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And right, Courtney says, plus it builds an open and trusting relationship from the beginning. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel very secure in who their sponsor is, because they are really working hard to walk you through these steps and make sure that you fully understand, and maybe hop on the phone when you're closing your first order or when you have a quick question. So I really want to encourage you guys to figure out what it looks like to onboard your new consultants. And again, it's going to look different based on how your new consultant is showing up back to you. Okay. But I really think it's very important that you help your new consultant understand the order system. I think that's going to be very important. Okay.
And it wouldn't be such a bad idea. We have people here talking about spirit squads, and that comes from the idea of world tour. A spirit squad are people who are basically appointed to be the most excited about people coming into world tour, right? And so it's the people at the door. If you went to world tour, it's the people at the door screaming, yelling at you with signs saying, we're so happy that you're here. And they've got the noisemakers and they've got the pom-poms, and they're just the most excited to see you. And so if you think of yourself as the spirit squad for your new consultant, and again, going back to this idea that motivation is fleeting, but also teaching them that motivation comes from the inside out, right? And so in their first 70 days, what you are really doing is you are showing them the way to work their business by being overly excited about this new opportunity, and teaching them in that process on how to work their business, and encouraging them and praising them and showing them how great this business can be, right? But what happens is in doing that, and in walking with the walkers and running with the runners, and taking the approach of, okay, you go do this, when you're done with that, you come back to me, right? And so it's the simple process of giving them a small bite-sized task, and then them coming back and us rewarding them with praise.
Yep.
Right.
So
It's that very, like, I used to do this with my kids. I'd be like, can you go put this away for mommy? And they'll go put it away and they come back. Yay, good job. Thank you so much for doing that for mom. You did it all on your own. Right. It's that same concept of like, your new consultant comes back to you and says, okay, I set up my VIP group. Now what? Awesome. I'm so proud of you. Okay. Now can you do this? Right. And so what it teaches them is that they are capable of doing what they need to do, and that the goodness that they get is really coming from the tasks that they're accomplishing. That
Yeah.
feel good feeling is from actually just doing the task.
Doing.
It's not really coming from you, right? You're just creating that like instant gratification for them,
Yep.
right? And pretty soon they're going to be able to feed that themselves.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I've learned by doing it this way.
Yep.
Something else that I wanted to add on as she was talking about like the sensational start and the shooting star. Did you know that if you go into your reporting and you go to downline or whatever, and you click on that person's name, your new consultant's name, it's going to take you to their profile and it's going to show you shooting star, how many days left? Sensational start, how many days left? If they've hit sensational start, it'll say they've achieved sensational start at level 1. It's going to show their lifetime PRV. So you don't have to guess. No more going back to the reporting tab and going to join date and going, okay, how many days has it been? Okay, they joined in January. No, you can literally go to their profile. You click on their name in your reporting tab, and it will give you all the information you need to know about them being a new consultant. Okay, so every day, if you go in and you check in and you say, okay, they've got 40 more days left in their sensational start, I'm going to text them right now and say, hey, what do you check in on them. Have you finished your launch party? Have you closed this party? Are we ready to get your free and half off stuff? Right? It becomes very simple for you to have access to the information you need to know how to show up for them as their sponsor. Literally your job. Okay, you are their spirit squad in that first 70 days. Now, with that being said, a spirit squad does not drag you into the room kicking and screaming. So you are not to work this business for them. You are not to necessarily hold their hand or carry them over the threshold. You are to teach them the ways to work their business on their own. Okay, and I will get into a little bit of that.
I think I'm done.
Okay, yeah,
I'm cool.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. See you later. Yeah. So, that was a good segue though for me, because my next system, our next point in this is team communication. Okay, and we kind of touched on this. She talked about a lot of the ways that you can communicate with your team in terms of recognition. Okay, and so a lot of those things are going to look the same. And so, I want to preface this by saying that when you step into leadership, Scentsy actually has standards for you that they hold you to, not necessarily like on a day-to-day, they're checking to make sure that you checked in with your team today, but somewhere down the line, there is an assumption of responsibility from Scentsy to you as a leader that says, we expect you to provide information to your people about news or about things or whatever. You should be in communication with your team. And you, at some point, may need to show Scentsy, hey, I am communicating with my team, right? Me and Alex can show we post on the team page daily. We can show that we send emails almost on a weekly basis. Like we can show that we are sharing the information with you guys and communicating with you. So nobody can say, I didn't know that. No, you knew. Okay. And so there is a responsibility on your part as a leader to communicate, but it does not have to be complicated. Okay. So at a bare minimum, communicating them via text message or messenger or however you communicate with them regularly, right? That counts as communication. But are you communicating with them about things they should know, right? Like about Scentsy related things, not just like, hey, how's your dog today? Okay, so it has to be like kind of Scentsy related, but communicating with them in terms of being a leader. Okay, and so you can text them, you can Facebook Messenger them, you can WhatsApp them, you can Marco Polo them, whatever that looks like for you. Other forms of communication that work just fine are emails. That's one of my favorite ways to communicate because I can do it massively, right? With 700 people on my team, I can send out one email and get all the information and make sure that I know that it's in your inbox. And then likewise, I can post on the team page that same information and tag everyone and go, okay, well, my assumption is that everybody will see this. Okay. Other ways is postcards. Okay. Again, this takes a little bit more it takes more time, it takes monetary investment, and but also in my opinion it's a little bit more personal. So if this is something that you want to take on, that's absolutely your choice. I did that before she's done that before.
Mhm.
It's not that it was a negative, but it is one of those things where it was a system that no longer felt simple to me.
Mhm.
And it was no longer worth the investment when I decided that I could just email everybody,
Yep.
right? And the return was the same. But everybody can choose to do it differently. But also communicating with your team can look like inviting them to the Dream Team chat. I don't recommend that being your only form of communication with your team. I don't think you should only be tagging your team on Tuesdays to come to the Dream Team chat. You
Mhm.
should be communicating with them outside of a Tuesday night. But that is a good form of communication because you are inviting them to a space where they will be fed.
Yep.
We should not be their only forms of news, though.
Yeah.
Okay. We are not their leaders. You're their leader,
Yep.
and we are their upline.
Yep.
Okay. So
We are not the only form of nutrition for them.
no, no.
And as you are growing and building your business, you want to hone in on this leadership skill of yours.
Yeah.
You want to get better at leadership for your team
Yes.
because one day you're going to be a superstar director, right? And so having these systems in place is going to really help you grow into your leadership. So don't just rely on tagging and inviting.
And whatever we post on the team page.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because you have value and your teammates are directly looking to you first.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they might get
100%.
inspired or have a good idea from us or someone else on the team page, but when they look for examples, when they have questions, they're comfortable going to you.
Yep.
They're looking to you.
Yep.
And take pride in that.
Yep. Yep. And be excited about it because they chose you.
Yep.
Okay. And then obviously an awesome way to communicate with your team is getting together.
Mhm.
Right. And so maybe that's virtually, maybe that's over Zoom, maybe that's over FaceTime, maybe that's locally. You can get together with them with a big event, or just getting coffee, or on a wide scale, you can get together with them at World Tour, or you can get together with them at SFR, right? Whatever that looks like, getting together in person, there's nothing like it. It's the
Mhm.
whole reason I flew to California for World Tour. Like getting together with my California team means so much to me that I want to make that investment. I want to make that sacrifice because
Mhm.
I want to connect with my team in that way. And so whatever that looks like for you, getting together, I would put that almost at the top of the list as often as possible, right?
Mhm.
As often as feasibly possible. But SFR is available to everyone,
Yep.
right? And it's one central location. And it's one of the reasons that SFR is my favorite,
Yeah.
is because we can all get together and
Yep.
we can all hang out and connect. Okay. So team communication on some form. Also posting on the team page, right? Posting on your team page, the team page, all team pages, whatever
Yep.
tickles your fancy, that counts as team communication.
Yep.
Okay.
And then again, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Establish how often is a minimum for you to do
Yes.
this. Okay. 'Cause
Consistency.
you can do it a little bit every day. You
Yep.
can do it once a week. Okay.
Yep.
Once a month is kind of
On a team page is lackluster.
it is.
That is below the bare minimum, in my opinion.
Yes.
To be honest.
Especially, yes, sharing what you're doing in your business once a month is not enough.
No.
Okay. That needs to be a system that you really try to focus on and grow. But as far as emails, postcards, texting, even once a month,
Yeah.
I think is fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So it really is just going to be like what avenue and how often.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. But note that the team page part was its own system in itself. Okay.
Yes.
So like that one isn't like, oh, I choose not to do that because I'm focusing on emails, right? The team page system was one in itself.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just another way to communicate.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, team communication is a system that you need to establish how you are going to show up consistently. And this, let me just also say, this goes back to like showing up in your business, right? When in the
Mhm.
beginning, when we talk about like figure out your level of consistency and then stick with it. Same with the team. Okay. Same with how you're going to show up to be a leader. I think that leaders show up pretty consistently, like on a regular basis. Leaders, and it's not about being front and center and spotlights on me. It's about letting people know I'm here if you need me, and
Mhm.
I want to be showing you what I'm doing. I want to be showing the way, the path to where you want to go. If I've been there, I want to make sure that I'm giving you all the resources that you need, right? And you can't be it's just like a parent. It's like I can't teach my kid one time how to potty train and then leave for a month and expect them to figure it out. It's like,
Mhm.
no, that's a consistent project I need to be
Totally.
working on. And so,
Right, because what would it look like if we just, like, post once a month on the team page and then you don't hear from us again
right,
till next month?
right.
You guys would not be very well supported.
Yeah, yeah. And it is about support.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna move on. So tracking numbers. Tracking numbers is another thing that probably we don't talk about enough, to be honest. And maybe some people would argue this does not need to be a system, but I can't tell you how helpful this has been in my business overall, but also for me as a person who wants to earn incentives, as a person who wants to make
Mhm.
a six-figure paycheck, as a person who wants to grow my team and build a healthy, long living business. Tracking numbers is absolutely a must do. Okay. So if you're like, I don't care about any of those things, I just want to get my Scentsy free and half off, then sure, willy nilly it. Okay. But if you are a person, because you're here, who
Right.
wants to build a team, who wants to be a leader, who
Mhm.
wants to grow a business, then you need to tracking your numbers.
Yep.
And you have to think about it like balancing your checkbook. Maybe some of you have never done that, but like looking at your bank account, right? Paying your bills.
Yep.
Like you have to know where you are so you know where you're going.
Yep.
Okay. And so every day there is a daily tracking log on the workstation that you can go and print out. And it's a month-long thing. Print it out, stick it on your wall, put it on your fridge, put it on your desk, put it in your planner. And every day you log into your workstation and you write down your numbers. Okay. It's a very simple thing.
Yep.
Okay. But over the course of a month, you can look back and see exactly what you did every single day.
Yep.
Not just what you did, but what your team did.
Yep.
Not just not just where you started, but how many people you sponsored.
When they go active.
Right. Right. How many active frontline you got to day after day after day.
Yep.
Right? You want to hit 2,500 PRV and you know that you need to break it down to 50 PRV a day. That's an easy way to track it.
Mhm.
Right? So tracking your numbers, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to step up your game as a leader in terms of not only your own personal business, but as a leader, being able to track your TWV and your GWV and your active frontline.
Yep.
Okay. And so again, that daily tracking log is in your workstation. You can literally type in daily tracking log,
Yep.
pops up, print it out.
Yep. And
Okay.
then can I add?
Yeah.
In addition to what it's so important, it also gets you into the reporting section of your workstation every day.
Yeah.
Talk about an awesome system.
Yeah.
Talk about an awesome way to start your day or finish your day in the reporting tab of your workstation. Actually logging into your workstation and going into it.
Yep.
Okay. So many times we skate by and we don't log in, we don't check anything, right? We want to get out of that habit. We want to get in the habit of getting into our workstation, into the nitty gritty numbers of things. And so daily tracking is a really great way to do that.
Yep. Um, okay. I'm gonna move to the next one. This might be my long-winded one, but I'm going to put emphasis on this one because it is super important and it's something that we're learning how to kind of adjust and do a little bit differently. But it's also the area that I struggled with the most in the beginning
Mhm.
because this is the area that encompasses the leadership woes, where I think every leader who has
Yes.
ever sponsored anybody or has been in this long enough knows this part of it. And
Mhm.
it's really important that we address it, but we don't dwell on it.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to explain and then we're going to talk about solutions. Okay. So the cover of this is personal connection, right, with your team. And there was a time when I was beginning to sponsor and I went from like 3 people to like 25 people to 50 people, and that felt like it happened really quickly once I did start sponsoring. And I went from wanting to check in with my people on a daily basis to then a weekly basis. And then I got overwhelmed and was like, wait, this isn't duplicatable. I can't talk to 50 people a week. And all of a sudden got overwhelmed because I wanted to put emphasis on connecting with my team on a one-on-one basis. I wanted to know everybody's name. I wanted to make sure that they knew who I was. And I realized that that just might not be possible.
Mm-hmm.
But what I recognize now and what I'm working on building better, and again, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress, is that personal connection with your team and the people on your team is so important. But it is important that we are honest with ourselves and that the
Mm-hmm.
expectation we put on those connections is in line with who we are and where we actually want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me explain. I am a people pleaser by nature. Okay, I am probably a recovering people pleaser because
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Okay, because it's not a great quality to have in the long run. I can't please everybody, and I can't be liked by everybody, and that's the other side of that, right? Is I'm trying to please people, and I'm trying to be everybody's friend, and I'm trying to make everybody happy because I want to be friends with people, and I want people to like me. But the reality of it is not every leader, no leader is liked by everybody
Mm-hmm.
underneath them or around them. Okay, that's just not the case. Not every boss is beloved, not every leader is liked. And so in that, we have to recognize that our expectation when we start building connections with people on our team, while it is important that we make sure, just like with our customers, that we are connecting with them outside of just a Scentsy focus, right? Because we can't be looking at our team like they're numbers. Okay. I don't look at anybody on my team as just a number. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
looking at my performance tab as just a bunch of numbers. Okay. I'm seeing names and I'm seeing friends and I'm seeing people I don't know. And I'm trying to figure out and work around this idea of how I could connect with them, and let them know that I see them. Right. So it's 3 words again. I see them without the expectation that I have to be friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be friends with 700 people. Okay. I just cannot. Nobody can be friends with 700 people. Okay. And what happens, I feel like most naturally for people, is we start to sponsor. And again, I'm talking to certified consultants stepping into leadership or brand new leaders who have a couple people on their team. What will happen if it hasn't happened already is once you start to bring people into this business and you start to get excited about the possibilities for them, you will see, like we've talked about all night long, there will be walkers and there will be runners. And the first few people that you probably bring into Scentsy will be people who are already close to you, like your
Mm-hmm.
friends, your best friend, maybe your sister or your cousin, right? And those people are looking to you and they're seeing that you're excited, and so you're reciprocating that to them, and they're mirroring that back to you, right? But the reality of it is maybe they don't see the long-term vision like you do. Maybe the reality of it is they're just doing it because they want to spend more time with you, but it really has nothing to do with the business,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so all of a sudden, in just a few days or a couple of weeks, you start to see that what you thought was a runner in front of you is actually a walker in disguise,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they got burnt out 30 seconds after hitting the join button, and your expectation of what their business was going to look like. And in turn, right, of course, because we have the selfish flesh in us, we're thinking, but wait, I was going to promote to lead this month. So now my feelings are hurt that you're not doing what you said you were going to do, best friend, right? And that is the first leadership woe that we run into. And it will happen probably sooner rather than later for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we hit that roadblock and we get disappointed. And then we say, this isn't worth it. I don't like this part. Right. How do I get this person to work their business? What if I just, how can I, what will motivate And the answer is there is nothing that you can do for somebody else's business to get them further than they're willing to go.
Yep.
Nothing you can do. Okay. And so the reality of it is that the expectation that you walk into every single sponsoring conversation or sponsoring moment with somebody, you are in control of that. That's it. You are only in control of your expectation. And so you have to be able to compartmentalize your relationship with people and the business. So I think that going into doing Scentsy with your best friend or your sister or whatever can be super exciting and it can be really great. And I encourage you to do that. But check your expectation. Okay.
Mhm.
Don't expect you out of other people.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter who it is. Let them show you who they're going to be in Scentsy before you put any expectations on them, right? Now, I've been in this business 7 years. Alex has an expectation of how I'm going to work my business because I've been doing it pretty much the same way for 7 years. So her expectation of me has been built over history,
Mhm.
right? So after some time, then you can start to be like, "Hey, bestie, why aren't you showing up like you used to? Like,
Mhm.
what's wrong? Is something going on?"
Right.
Right? But after a week of them joining and then being like, "Oh yeah, I'm super excited. Let's do this." And then all of a sudden they fall off and they're ghosting you. That's not enough history for you to then,
Hold them to some expectation that
yes.
you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a hard part about leadership, but all that set aside, there are moments that you are going to have with people, and there are going to be wins that you celebrate with the people around you that makes every hard moment, hurt feeling, lost expectation worth it.
Yep.
And I promise you when I say that, that comes from a person who has cried, that comes from a person who has had to learn to have thick skin, that comes from a recovering people pleaser, right? Like I am telling you from the bottom of my heart, all of the wins that I've gotten to celebrate with my people, even people who have celebrated big wins and then aren't here anymore,
Mhm.
right? Makes every hard moment worth it. But what I have learned along the way is that my expectations have to be in check. And it starts with knowing how to walk with the walkers and what that looks like, and how to run with the runners and what that looks like, right? And separating the relationships.
Yep.
But there still needs to be relationship. Okay. And that relationship gets established over time. You don't become best friends with somebody immediately, right? So if you are wanting to connect with somebody, it starts with just simple conversation, right? It starts with connecting with them on the team page, or it starts with sending them a text message and saying, "Hey, I see you put in an order today. I'm so proud of you. How is everything going?" Or it starts with following them on social media,
Yep.
right? And connecting with them on there and actually communicating about things that matter to them, right? Commenting on something that's genuine, right? Um, those connections, and those connections be built over time. And then all of a sudden, you have a team that's full of people who you can say, "Oh yeah, like we're connecting on Instagram over this," and there's more to this team. There's more to this team relationship than just Scentsy. It's like, "Oh wait, I know their kids. Oh wait,
Mhm.
she told me the story about her grandma. Oh wait, and it's just those little nuggets that you get to build on, and that creates history and that creates relationship. But you have to know how to hold both of those in different hands,
Mhm.
okay? And not let one get the better of you or let one have control over expectation of the other. Just because you're friends doesn't mean they're going to make a great teammate. Or just because they're your teammate doesn't mean you're going to be best friends.
Yep.
Okay? And that's something that I wish that I knew early on, but I'm learning now. So, it's worth it. Leadership is worth it. But knowing how to handle and walk through the process is so valuable.
Mhm.
Okay. And it's also something that's important that you share with people who are building their team. right? Me and Alex kind of like tried to talk about what this conversation was going to look like, because we don't want it to feel heavy on you, and we don't want it to feel like a burden, or you feel like discouraged from doing it. But I feel very strongly in being honest about it, because this is where I struggled the most.
Mhm.
And I think that I know that it's something everybody will experience.
Mhm.
And so I need you to know that it's going to happen, but you can overcome it. And it has more to do with you than anything else, which is a good thing,
Yeah.
because you get to control the outcome and how you move forward.
Mhm.
So the fact that you can take the situation and learn from it and move on differently or adjust is so good. That's a blessing. Okay. And so being able to connect with people, connect with your team, again, figuring out what that looks like for you, and not holding yourself to some crazy standard, like reaching out to all of your frontline every single week, like that may not work, and that's not duplicatable.
Mhm.
That's very overwhelming,
Yep.
right? So figure out how you're going to connect with your team. And maybe that's at SFR, right? Maybe that's like being able to say, "Hey, we're going to have a team dinner at SFR," right? Or we're going to get on Zoom once a month and just hang out, right? One way that we do it is Dream Team Chat. Like, we
Yep.
love coming here and connecting with you guys, asking you guys questions, and bringing this information to you, but being able to like hear from you guys. So figuring out what that personal connection looks like for you, okay? But making sure that your expectations are in check, and you know how to drive it forward.
Mhm.
Um, and then to close it out, basically lather, rinse, repeat.
Yep.
Like, the moral of the story is, you take all of these systems and you plug it into your business, you plug it into your life, and you figure out, what does it look like for me to be consistent in leadership, using these systems as my compass, right? These are the systems that I need to have in play. How do I plug these in, right? And I do it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, right? And I'm showing up for my team, and I am building, and I am growing, and I am knowing the way, going the way, and showing the way. Like, it truly is that simple, but it's something that requires you to not just do it once, right?
Mhm.
This is a repetitive process. This is the mundane work that like has to be done over and over and over again. Every first of the month, me and Alex send out an email, like every Tuesday we're working on team stuff. So every Tuesday night we're here. So it's like, not that that's necessarily mundane, but it is the things that we are repeating, 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 because it's systems that we have put in place
Yep.
as leaders. And so only you can figure out what that looks like for you.